Hi everyone, welcome back to regular video week. I'm going to be talking about how music is, beyond just something that people play and people do in their day-to-day lives and listen to. I think it's a form of expression, and beyond linguistics, it's an actual language too. You're probably wondering, Trent, why do you have a mic if you also have a microphone on top of your camera? Well, for starters, resources, right? If I don't like how it sounds with the microphone, I'll use this one. If I don't like how this works in my hand, we'll use that. I also just want to be dramatic, okay? I'll be going back and forth with a lot of editing because although I love editing and how strenuous it can be, how long it takes to get the true project out the way you want it, takes a very, very, very long time, we still do it. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. Let's get started. Trent, let's talk about music. Music is heavily encrypted in our brains, so much that it could be seen as another language. Now, I would have argued that music is a universal language, but that would imply that every culture has the same musical dialect. The Indian music system is based on melody and single notes played in a specific order, whereas Western music focuses on harmony and uses tonic or chord progression that evokes a plethora of emotions. But just because Indian classical music doesn't display a concept of harmony, that doesn't mean it's less complex. Actually, with no harmony, there's no restraint in fixed notes and chords, giving full creative liberty in rhythm and melody. But I digress. I'm sure that we can all agree that even though everyone isn't fully proficient in music theory, music is a universal form of expression that spans across all groups of people, and at the end of the day, that's what I want you to learn from this video. I will indulge in a little bit of music talk, but I know it can be a little overwhelming for people, so it's okay, I'll talk you through it. The earliest composers who used markings in their scores were alive and well in the Renaissance and Baroque periods. What markers, you may ask? These. If you've never seen these before, or if it's been a while, don't worry, they're pretty straightforward. But let's backtrack for a second. If you look at a flute or a piccolo, the words soft and dainty probably come to mind, right? Why? Because of the instrument's timbre. Timbre is actually the natural tonality and sound of an instrument without any manipulation. You can recognize a trumpet so easily because of the timbre. You can recognize the sound of a flute because of the timbre, a tuba because of the timbre. So the dynamics of music are pretty simple. If you want something to be played very, very soft, you'll have 3 P's, which means pianissimo. Then you have pianissimo, which is 2 P's, which means very soft. Piano, P, soft. Mezzo piano, which is a little soft. Mezzo forte, a little loud. Forte, loud. Fortissimo, very loud. And then fortissimo is very, very loud. Emotions like sadness and happiness are linked with music as well, which I'll explain more in detail later. But for now, I want to show you what I mean through major and minor keys. See, minor keys in Western music have been linked with sorrowful songs as opposed to more jubilant pieces being linked with major keys. A single piano note is actually made up of several notes at different frequencies, a fundamental, and some higher harmonics which give the note its tone or color, these being the major third, fifth, or octave of the root. So because each single note contains a major third, when you play that note together with a minor third, there are 2 closely spaced notes hitting the ear at the same time, making some sort of audio dissonance. That'll explain the sadness. I'm not gonna lie, I think I might have lost some of y'all, but it's okay, I'm here. I'm gonna explain it so you guys can understand. So, in any chord, a chord, cute little equation for you guys, equals the root, we're going to use that R, the third, and the fifth. The root is usually the first note of the scale, right? Then the third, and the fifth. Let's use C major. C major has no sharps, no flats, just like I explained in the last episode. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? This is our first, this is our third, this is our fifth. And that is what we call a major chord. But there are minor chords. Let's go to the piano. So, I'm over at my piano now. Let's focus on C major scale, quick and easy. C major. This is our minor. This is our major. We're raising the third. Can you hear the sadness? I think you can. Okay, back to the video. But making happy songs in major keys isn't the end-all be-all. A lot of songs that you link with happiness are played in minor keys, like the Romeo and Juliet theme, for example. Alright, it's my time to shine. So we're gonna use Walk in the Skies from Howl's Moving Castle, and I'm gonna tell you different dynamics that people use in music theory. To try and remember the pulse. We gotta hone in, we gotta lock in, okay? Because I'm like that. Sorry. We're going to, okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. When we get to ritardando to tempo primo, that means we're decreasing our tempo and then immediately going right back up. So I'm gonna show you 1, 2, 3, 1. Hope that makes sense. I hope if that worked out, I'm so good at what I do. So proud of myself. Thank you. All right, let's move on. I'll do you one better. Let's talk about Robert Pattinson's Batman. So everyone knows how dark and brooding Batman can be. He has this mystery about him. The church bells in the theme, along with the strings, all intensify the embodiment of Batman.
They think I'm hiding in the shadows.
Although we know who we're looking for in this scene, you can hear and feel Batman's presence before he even reaches the screen. The key for this score is in B-flat minor, and peaks out so much in the movie, just like Batman. Now my fellow nerds have probably already figured this out, but if you haven't, I just thought it was cool. Trin, don't forget to tell them about the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale are scales that are built out of 5 different notes. It's easier to remember because of the Greek prefixes, pentatonic. Now, the pentatonic scale is found in almost every culture in the world, which demonstrates how intuitive it is. Watch how Bobby McFerrin gives the audience just a few notes, but because music is so innate and intergenerational, the audience was able to fill in what note was next.
Ba, ba, ba. Da dum da 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 ba 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 da 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 ba ba da 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 ba da da ba 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 da 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 ba.
And you want to know something else? The audience is actually watching Bobby in the right direction of how a scale should go. He moves to the left to go below the scale and to the right to go above the scale. But since Bobby is facing the audience, he's actually shifting his brain so the audience understands. But you can't really expect anything less because it's Bobby McFerrin. Side note, have you guys ever heard of a Gregorian chant? It's okay if you haven't, we'll teach you. Gregorian chants are sacred songs usually sung in Roman Catholic churches. They peaked way before us, and I mean way before. I'm talking 9th and 10th century. Gregorian chants are usually monophonic, meaning there's only one sound. But I'm sure you've heard of Gregorian chants before. I know you have. Here's one. But back to the topic at hand. Music taps in with a lot of areas in our brain that demonstrate an accompaniment, pun intended, of sound and emotion linking with memory. There's neurology in music, you know? Like how some parts of the brain are only responsible for auditory perception and analysis. The amygdala integrates how we feel. Here's Dr. Barusha talking about how specific music intervals show up with certain emotions. They found that the actors they monitored linked descending minor thirds with sadness.
So this is a descending minor third. We had actresses say words like okay, so you heard a lot of okay.
And how ascending minor seconds are linked with anger.
Okay.
Music deflates a feeling of contemplation. It provides both improvisation and artistic direction. And although I've been doing this for a while, I make these videos to remind you that music is accessible to everyone. Music was the best thing to ever happen to me. It can be a hobby or a discipline. For me, I chose both. We serenade our lovers, we share our sorrows, our thoughts and prayers, all through the act of music. It allows us to speak fluently through each other. And as we all live differently, when it comes to music, we become closer, one beat at a time. So, I hope you guys had a great time learning about music and how we express ourselves through it all the time, every day, even if we don't mean to. Music, at the end of the day, is whatever you want it to be. And let me know what your favorite song is, what your favorite music experience is in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this episode and this different editing style. And I'll see you guys in the studio next week. Bye!